Hiya, welcome to TableTalk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, please give them a follow on whichever podcast service you prefer, and come back every Friday for another upload. Now, I'll send it over to them.
I want to buy it, but I can't justify spending like $70 when I'm like, oh, well, my friend has it and he's going to let me borrow it.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing about Elden Ring that you may not like. On PS5, it does chug a bit, the frame rate. Like, it's 60 frames, but
Every now and then.
Yeah, well, there's a little... It's pretty much whenever you, like, start loading, it'll chug, 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 chug. Oh, here we are.
See, but I've heard it's even worse on PC.
Yeah.
So I was like, I already have a really nice PC, and it's probably still going to chug.
Well, so I haven't, seen any videos breaking it down completely, but I have heard word of mouth, if you get the PS4 version and then play it on PS5, then it's got a steady frame rate.
What?
But
nah, I'm just going to play the PS5 version and hope it gets patched.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe they'll patch some frame rate issues soon, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the frame rate. I really do kind of want to jump on the hype train. I'm not going to lie. I want to at least give it a try, maybe put 10 hours into it and give up, but I don't want to spend the $70. I'm okay with like $20.
Well, I mean, I could, like, me and you can go back and forth or something. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Like, I have no qualms with, like, letting you play along on the PS5.
As long as for a minimum of 30 minutes I experience Dark Souls, I'm okay with it. That's all I need. I just want to have the experience and be able to hold a feasible conversation about it, like where I'm at with Naruto.
It's a new it's a new control scheme. Like, if you've played an RPG before, think nothing of it, because like the control scheme is completely different for this game.
Does it feel smooth or?
Yeah, once you get used to it, it feels very smooth.
Yeah,
Okay.
What's very difficult for new players, and this is true for all Souls games, I think, is just the controls don't make like perfect sense for things that you've played before, where they've got it built out in such a way where like you almost have to hold the controller with like or the way that I do it is I hold the controller with my index finger over the face buttons so that I can have a thumb on both sticks and press the triggers as well. Because
So yeah, what I did
everywhere.
what I do is, when I'm running or dodging and stuff, I'll put an index finger over the B button, just for dodging and everything like that. And then, but I do have the habit of swapping back. Like, I won't click the bumper with my middle finger. I'll only click the bumper with my index finger. So I'm like weird in that way where I'm like, okay, I can click the trigger with my middle finger, but I don't really want to click the bumper with it. So like I'll go into that like claw position and then immediately switch back and then switch back and then switch back.
You know, I think I do the same thing because I'm definitely not most comfortable using my middle finger for the bumper,
Yeah.
but I'll do it because it's kind of necessary sometimes. You don't have time to think about what your hands are doing.
Yeah, no. I mean, once you know where the buttons are, it's like, okay, just let your mind do it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not nearly as good at it as you are because I haven't put the hours in, and like I've never had that boss fight where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try this 60 times until I beat it.
Yeah, well, so when I first started playing Dark Souls, here's a little secret about me. I really didn't like it. I wanted to like it so bad because it seemed like it was right up my alley. It's fantasy with a cool story. Things were just very mystical about Dark Souls when I first got into it, but it just wasn't clicking with me fully because it was just so hard. So I had to play through the game a second time pretty much and do like an entirely different build than I did the first time to fully for it to click with me. And then I learned about all the hidden lore that I didn't understand when I was playing the game, and I realized, what the fuck? I played this whole game, and now I know what was going on.
Yeah.
So it's really cool because it's like a mystery, and so the more time you invest into it, the more into it you get. But that barrier to entry is really high. Though I will say, Elden Ring, fun for the whole family. I did get Becca to play it for a few hours, or I didn't even have to ask her because she just really wanted to play
Did
it.
she have fun with it?
Oh, okay.
Well, she didn't level up, and she was stuck at the very beginning. But
I mean, probably because she's not a gamer. Like, I'm not gonna not in a she's a girl, she's not a gamer type deal, but in a way that she doesn't know the buttons. You know, she doesn't frequently play video games.
Please, she's a master at GTA 5.
Does she actually play a lot of GTA 5?
No, but I just bought it for her because she did a long time ago, and
okay.
I've never played GTA 5. So she asked me to buy GTA 5 for her.
Isn't it
so
only like
that,
a $10 upgrade for the PS5 version coming out?
Maybe. I don't know anything about that, but it's backwards compatible, so I just got the PS4 version. It was like $10 on Amazon.
Yeah. I think they're doing a full like PS5 overhaul, and to upgrade to it, it's $10. And like you can, I think for the first 3 months the game is out, you only have to spend $10 on it, and then after that it goes to full price. And then GTA, either the base game or online is just going to be free for the first 3 months, and then you pay for it after that as a standalone.
Well, that's cool.
What I am excited for that comes out later this month, and I didn't realize until today, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is coming out in a couple of weeks. And I, as a casual Borderlands like fan, I haven't played all of Borderlands 3 yet. I've played 1, pre-sequel 2, all of that. But like Chase and I were really into that. And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is the fantasy D&D spin on that. I heard some reviews about it today, like people who played the little intro stuff. And they were like, yeah, it's really cool. It's everything you like from Borderlands, but then they put a tabletop role-playing game spin on it, like where there's a mage class, and then there's a berserker class called a berserker, and he's a cold-based. He's a cold-based berserker class. So I was like, oh, I just want to play this game because it just sounds like so much dumb fun to me.
Yeah, berserker sounds like a Pokemon to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. I think
Well,
there's
that's
something
because
like that.
Berserker is Meowth's
That's it.
Right.
evolution, right? In, what was it, Sword and Shield?
Yeah, exactly. So when they've got the new location with the new regional variants, it'll be Hanawanalukin Galarian Meowth turns into Berserker.
Oh my gosh. There's too many different kinds, too many regions.
Is that the name of the region?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I thought that was real. I was like,
I was
wow, he really
convinced.
pulled that out.
Nope. I don't even know the names of the new starters from Scarlet and Violet. I'm still shocked that they're coming out with Gen 9 already.
Right? That's crazy. I'm excited for... Well, I probably won't end up playing the whole game because I play every generation, and every time I'm like, no, it's fine. So we'll see. We'll see what I actually end up playing. But I like the new starters. I was taking a good look at them, and I think the grass litten is cute.
That kind of is exactly what it is, huh? It's just Litten but grass.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're just copying.
Then
old
there's
types.
fire totodile.
Ooh.
Oh.
And then there's Ducklet, but just Donald Duck. Because it looks like
Great.
Ducklet with a hat, but he joined the military.
I have to take another look at these starters because now I feel like I haven't seen them at all.
Oh my gosh, you definitely need to take another look, because literally looking at the fire starter, I immediately went like, oh, there's a fire Totodile now, because he just looks like a little fire crocodile, and he's cute, and also he looks like that apple Pokemon too. For Applin.
Oh yeah, Applin.
Isn't it like
Yeah.
a dragon apple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a dragon apple.
That's crazy.
And I love it. It's a dragon grass type. Oh, I think it looks so cool. Have I ever had one? No.
I just love the idea that there's a bunch of really old men over at Niantic or what's
Game Freak, you mean?
Game Freak.
Please.
See, I'm a
Oh my gosh,
Pokemon Go
Niantic?
player. So for me, Niantic
This
is all
guy.
Pokemon. But I like the idea there's just a whole bunch of old dudes just with a spinner. They have two spinners of nouns. They just get two and mash them together to make a Pokemon just to see what happens.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking at these starters again. I love the duck. He's got a little pompadour on his head.
Ooh.
If he doesn't turn into like, just the West Side Story Grease, like that's not his final evolution. He's just not a handsome greaser
Well,
with
he's
a
in
little
the military,
switchblade.
Zach.
He's in the military.
Look at his hat. He's in the military.
That's not a hat. That's his
He's
hair.
But have you guys seen the memes of people looking at the grass litten? I don't even know their names, but and being like, please stay on all fours. Like, do not stand up on 2 feet, because every time they have a starter that's adorable and like what's the word, quadrupedal? I don't know. Quadrupedal. Every time they have that, they automatically make it a bipedal animal, like in its final evolutions, and they're like, please just stay on all fours. You're cuter that way.
I'm so picky with my starters. I feel like there's so few that are actually really cool.
I like all three of these, where I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, I actually don't know which one I'm going to choose. Though I've heard many people saying they're going to choose the grass cat. The one that immediately stood out to me was the duck. And then I took a second look at the fire one and was like, oh, he looks kind of cool too, though. Like, I think it depends on what they turn into for me.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
definitely.
I need to see their final evolutions. Because which one was it? The Poplio, who I thought was adorable at first, but I hated his evolutions, where I was like, oh, come on, man.
You see, I actually hate the look of Poplio.
Oh, really?
But now, and I didn't like Primarina either, but now I kind of like it.
Yeah.
In retrospect. But I'm a water starter kind of guy.
Oh, I usually am too. Like Oshawott to Samurott was one of my favorites.
Yeah, heck
Where
yeah.
I loved Oshawott, like, and all the way up until he got to Samurott, I was like, this is great. But I played that generation 3 times as a kid, where I played once with each. So I did end up going like the Snivy to Superior, and then I did the Tepig all the way to Embor. And out of all of those, I still gotta say that I have the most, like, I love Oshawott the most still.
I agree. Oshawott is amazing. And honestly, I don't like the other Gen 5 starters at all. But Oshawott's okay in my book.
Yeah, it sucks that they did another Embor for Incineroar. Where it's just like, it's also Fire Dark, right?
No, so Embor was firefighting, but he was the 3rd firefighting starter in a row. Because
and
we had
Incineroar would have
Blaziken.
been another one.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, he looks like a firefighting type.
Oh, he's a wrestler. He's a fighting type.
Yeah, they just said, we can't.
They were like, we can't do it again.
Is
They've
there
already
something
called us
special
out.
About that? Is there something special about a firefighting type?
No,
Is it really
it's just,
good, or?
I mean, they just look cool.
They
But
like the pun, firefighter.
what,
Oh, that
Wasn't-
makes perfect sense.
what was the newest one? The rabbit. I forgot its name, and I used it.
Is that also a firefighting type?
I don't
just
remember
pure
if it goes
fire?
to fire.
I really
fighting.
hope not.
I feel like it does go to fighting, but I might not know. So
Yeah, I didn't even finish Sword and Shield, so I'm not the expert on that either.
yeah. I mean, speaking of swords and shields, welcome to Table Talk Friday, where this week we're just gonna chat about what we love about Dungeons and Dragons. We've been playing this game for a good 4 or so, maybe even 5 years now. What was it, sophomore year of college?
Yep.
So yeah, it's been almost like 5 years we've been playing this game, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. So we're just kind of gonna kind of reminisce, talk a little bit about what we like, and this is the first episode we have our new Table Talk Friday logo up, which is super sweet. I think you guys agreed that I think we chose the correct one.
Yes,
Yes,
I
I
love
did.
the insert color here as we decide. It's the green.
It should be the green and the blue one.
Yep.
Oh, it'll be great. You guys are gonna love it.
By the way, in case you haven't met us before, my name is Zach. Over here on my left is Drew. He's the one with his own mic. And Seth, he's over here, also with his own mic.
And Zach's in the middle
Yep,
with
of
his
course.
own mic.
Yeah, I'm the glue.
Yeah.
That's good old glue Zach.
But so I kind of just wanted to talk about the parts of the game that I enjoyed the most. So mainly for me, as anyone who's heard us talk before, or if this is your first episode listening, I'm the guy that's all about the narrative, about the story, and if I'm playing a character, I'm all about the character that I'm playing. Like, I put my head completely in their space. If my character's a dumbass, I am also a dumbass for about 4 hours.
That's an accurate statement. I could agree.
Where, like, I don't allow outside thoughts to hit me because I'm like, I'm my character. Like, you will not get to me on this one. For instance, whenever I'm playing an Elijah, I'm sitting there literally spaced out because I see him as a very spacey character, so I just start spacing out the whole session. I'm like, wait, what was that? Because I'm trying to play him up as much as possible. Otherwise, though, I am the forever DM of our table as well. So I end up DMing the most because I think I like DMing the most, where I just like, my big thing is I like planning the session, I like making the fun for the party, and I like the writing portion of it. It's a nice, like, wind down in the week if I get to, like, sit down, prep my D&D session, and then even if I prep nothing, being really excited when it goes exactly how I wanted without any planning.
So, as our resident forever DM, what would you say is your absolute favorite part of being the DM? Or do you have something that you'd place a little bit above the rest, because I definitely have my favorite aspect of being a DM, but
My favorite part has to be whenever I pull out the wild card, or like anytime that I get the Zach facial reaction of like, whenever I get the gasp is when I'm like, oh yeah, I did good today. Or I'd put it equally up there whenever we have those somber moments where everybody is like emotional about something. So for instance, epilogue to Storm King's Thunder with Dayla's character. For spoilers for our campaign, for those of you that haven't heard us talk about it before, our beloved character Daleth, who was our wizard of the party, ended up dying at the end of our final session of Storm King's Thunder, and like the absolute like emotion that went into it, like of him role playing back and forth between the other characters, and how everybody was like on the verge of tears. Probably still my favorite session of all time.
yeah, and that's kind of what it's all about. I'd say that just for anyone who's curious, as a DM, that's sort of what I look for too. Not to out myself so much, but I do enjoy validation for the work that I put in to the session. So when I get that reaction out of the players and everyone's just vibing, and after the session, you say, that was a great session. And Seth, you always do say, that was a good session.
Oh, yeah. I always like to, because I'm also a person who really likes validation, but because I am the DM every week, I don't always get validation, where like the session ends and I don't always get that because everybody's so used to me DMing every week that like it's normal now. So like when we do a Salt Marsh session once every couple of months, it's like, this is different. And everybody's like, wow, we're hyped because this is different.
Yeah.
And then we go back to my game and I'm like, oh, this is like normal. Like this is just how it is. This isn't different. And then I always feel like I have to change something because I want the reaction again.
Yeah, and your sessions will typically end with a yes, we wanted to keep playing.
That is very nice. That's something that I added in for Avernus, where like I always wanted to try and have like a cliffhanger moment. So at the end of our last session with Oswin, where I was like, and the door opens and I was like, I'm not even going to leave room for role play. Like we're ending it right here. So that way nobody knows what happens after this.
Yeah. And that's always, I love that about your sessions too. And I love that about D&D in general, is thinking about the next session and what's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
If I, just taking over the conversation now because
no, go ahead.
This show's about me. To say my favorite thing about D&D, it probably still is the in-between session and the okay, what am I gonna do next? We just leveled up. Okay, let me level up my character and let me think about all the cool things that I'm gonna be able to do next session, and let me formulate what magic item Oswin's gonna be working on next, and what sort of things
are long text chains about D&D.
Yeah, exactly. It takes me back to college when we would sit up until 3 a.m. just talking about
how are we gonna kill the Wraith?
How are we gonna kill that Wraith? Or how are we gonna demolish Zach's brother Eric and his party in the Convergence?
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a terrible. So to give you a little bit of just a little anecdotal story. I'm sure we'll cover this in a story time at some point because this is a great one. But,
this should be a whole episode for sure.
Yeah, honestly. But our original DM, Lanky Eric, was running 2 separate campaigns in the same world at the same time. And once we got through our portion, which was just Lost Mines of Phandelver, and they got through their portion of what they were doing, he decided, okay, I want one big mega party to come together, and we're all gonna compete in like this Adventurers League setup tournament, or Adventurers Guild tournament, basically, where we compete in, the tuning exams from Naruto is probably the biggest thing that it was compared to, but it was also like a Captain America Civil War sort of moment.
Exactly. It was definitely like a Captain America Civil War moment where it's like, oh, we should be working together on this, but also we're competing against each other, so what do we actually do?
But anyway, that went on for like 3 or 4 sessions, and it was just a nightmare because we couldn't get 8 people or 9 people to play.
The best session of that entire
time.
thing was when we got 6 people and 2 replacements to play through.
Yeah.
See, whenever you guys talk about this, and I've heard this story a million times, I can only think of all the characters from Mortal Kombat heading to Shang Tsung's island, ready to just duke it out. to
Yeah,
the
but
dead.
imagine that 2 of them are voiced by the wrong people.
No.
Well, and also their personalities changed. They got swapped.
Yeah, they have like palette swaps too. Like it's like
Oh.
an orange Sub-Zero.
Uh-huh.
No one wants an orange Sub-Zero.
No,
That's
now we're
awful.
playing as Roy as opposed to Bowser Jr.
Oh yeah, exactly.
God. Just the knockoff villains at this point.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a full story time on that. Maybe like next week or the week after. We can talk about our entire experience with the Convergence. And Drew, it can be your actual reactions when certain people came in and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because it led through a lot of things where when the second campaign started, it was in a one-off, and my character was featured in said one-off. And then all of a sudden it like just went like spiraled downhill as I think Lanky Eric just couldn't keep up with as much as what was going on, and then also getting 8 people together for
That's
a session.
insane.
Yeah, getting 8 people together more than 1 week in a row, because we tried to do like an 8-hour session to finish it out, and we could not finish it.
No, it was insane, and it seemed like such a great idea on paper, but I think PvP in D&D is already sort of like a difficult thing to broach,
Yes.
and you don't want to, center a whole swath of campaign around that, because ultimately there's going to be a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
point.
it wasn't even fun to win against the losing party because, they'd put so much thought and effort into it
You know
as
what
well.
was fun whenever we went against our like anti-team?
Yeah.
So-
So Lanky Eric also set up an additional team, and it doesn't seem fair because he definitely knew that we were going to win versus the other party.
Yes.
And set up this team that was basically us but better. And so he had a bunch of DM controlled player characters. He drew out their character sheets and made them up. And basically we just went one-on-one with a lot of them. And then ultimately when we beat the B team, as we called them, which was a group of actual player characters, then we finally went up against the C team, which was the DM's perfect mirror match counter for all of our characters. So
It was fun.
yeah, my overpowered revised ranger unearthed arcana was up against Ivan, the polearm master spear fighter, with just a bunch of tricks to shut me down specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It was cool.
So-
and we did have a fun moment where Quinn, my character, had to fight Ivan in a one-on-one match, basically. And I lost, which was like a great character growth moment because Quinn doesn't lose fights very often. He was, very powerful. So, and it was honestly a humbling moment for me as a player as well because I realized, oh, my character isn't invincible.
Yeah, exactly. So, Drew, what is your favorite thing about D&D? Zach's is obviously the fact that he gets to talk about it in between sessions, do a lot of planning, and build character. What's your favorite thing?
So I might have mentioned this as a player before, but I absolutely live for just that one thing you do in the session that was super uber cool. The one thing you could look back on and be like, damn,
The
that
anime
was
moment.
awesome. Yeah. Anything that could be a cinematic scene in a video game or like a really dramatic moment in a movie. It doesn't even have to be emotional. It could be just you rolling a nat 20 and absolutely demolishing the boss. Anything that you do that's just that one cool factor that everyone talks about afterwards, I live for that.
That's because you get it so much, where like every time we've had a big bad, you've gotten to kill him.
Yeah, it's no big deal or anything.
Yeah, Kill Stealer Drew over here thinks it's so cool when his character
Now,
beats
he
the boss.
deserved to kill the big bad of Storm Kings because the whole arc revolved from Eknon's origin to there.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like, oh, this is the perfect ending. Like, he just happened to get the last hit, and it
Yeah.
was like, this is perfect.
Well, and it didn't feel like he was stealing anyone's thunder either. If anything,
Oh,
I
stealing someone's thunder?
the Storm King's thunder. That was a dumb joke. Cut that one out. But it did make sense narratively because of how it was all set up. And the party ultimately formed around Eknon. And he wasn't the face or the mascot of the group, but I think even more than Morwyn, Eknon was the heart and like the moral compass in a lot of ways.
Right.
Because Morwyn, as a paladin, had a very strict and stringent, moral code at times, which butt heads against Beryl, who was just entirely chaotic. But Eknon, even when Morwyn was, up his own ass, thinking about things in his very specific point of view, would say, okay, well, let's be rational about this. Let's take a neutral stance and let's make it happen. So
Yeah.
great character, great moment for that character.
So I will say that one of the things I love about Drew most at the table is one-liners. Drew, I don't know how he does it, comes up with the absolute best one-liner. And Drew as a person does this too, where like he'll say a one-liner in a conversation and we're like, damn, that needs to be recorded. Like that was a sitcom moment.
Wow, you should be on a podcast.
Yeah, and so even at our table, Drew will just say like the best one-liners. For instance, last week, you guys were going up against an aboleth in
so
a deep
cool.
dank cave, and you were playing a monk named Rogan. You had a Russian accent, and the way like right after combat finished, the aboleth ended up fleeing, and they would have had to like go underwater in order to chase after this thing. And Rogan gives the one-liner of, "Oh well, I can just go out there and get him. Like I'll just go out there and finish it off for you guys." Basically,
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, everyone else was injured and hurt, and I had like 2 hit points left, so I was good to go follow this thing.
and and it was like right at the end of the session, and his character's just like, "Well, I can go finish it off," and everybody, like the whole table, erupts with laughter because it's just the funniest thing that was said all night, and that happens almost every session. Just a good one-liner from Drew.
And
Absolutely.
that's what I live for, though. It's the one-liner is the perfect opportunity to just make you feel like you played great that night. You know, just make people laugh a little bit.
As long as you get one of those, then all of a sudden it was a great session, right?
Yeah, which I would have to say, I guess, is probably one of the reasons I enjoy playing support characters so much. Which another one of my absolute favorite parts of D&D is just playing support, being the backup, the backbone to your friends, make sure everyone's healed up, not dying, all
The fairy
buffed, ready to
fires,
go.
the haste, the polymorphs,
Yeah, it's.
the counter spells.
And you know what? Being a support character makes it easier to have those moments, I feel like. Because you're in the back, you're kind of doing your own thing. Maybe you're not outshining anybody. You know, the barbarian's doing his own thing in the front, or the rogue's taking those crazy sneak attack shots. But then, as soon as someone goes down, you cast a 6th level heal. He's back up 70 hit points, ready to go. Ooh.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I see why you like support characters so much. I'm just not that guy. I guess I usually like having a character that's more like front facing, maybe not the front liner, but like a character who gets to have their conversations more often. I don't care if I'm like the face of the party or whatnot. Like I don't think Elijah's going to be the face of the party. Well, no, I know Elijah's not going to be the face of the party, but like Galandon was and Agent 99 was, where they're just like the conversationalists. I like having conversations. So it's another thing I like whenever I happen to be a player is I like just being able to have conversations with my character and the others.
You know, in TV shows, in the intro, when all of the characters walk forward in slow motion with like their glasses and their suits and looking all cool, you know, I want to be the guy on the end, like the far right. You know, I feel like you're somewhere in the middle right, middle left area, not directly middle, but somewhere off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that's usually my favorite character in a lot of things. And what's funny about that, Drew, is I think that I love playing a support character, but
You don't.
No, I don't.
But you think it.
Yeah, every character that I have, I try and get a little bit of support in there to make me think like, okay, I'm helping out the party, I'm a valuable entity, but ultimately, I do crave the nat 20 and the, just a moment to in character, just fully go at it and relish in that victory. I'm still waiting to play an Oath of Glory Paladin, so I can just soak it all in.
You're gonna love it, dude. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So I would say another thing, just not my favorite thing about D&D, but things that I do love about D&D is the history of the game. So being able to like kind of go online, and if I need to know anything about any city, being able to like quickly look it up, pull it up, and read about it. So like whenever I knew that Osmond was going to Candlekeep, I was like, oh, I gotta learn about Candlekeep really quick. And so, pull it up, learn everything I can about Candlekeep, and be like, okay, I understand how this civilization works now. I'm good to run the session. Like now that I know how the politics work, I know the characters that are there and the ones that are living, and how sort of the back and forth is between like the monks and the people that live inside, as well as like the whole Court of Air area. I was like, okay, I have a good grasp of how Candlekeep works now. Boom, that's in the books. It's memorized. It's done. But yeah, the history of Dungeons and Dragons is very long, very vast. There's so much to love about the game. There's so much like that went wrong in the past that you can look up, find, and learn how they fixed it with sort of like 3.5 and 5e. And yeah, I just think that the game is super friendly in that if you need to know anything, if there's something you don't want to write yourself, you can just easily look it up online.
Yeah, and I will say, inversely, I love the aspect that there is a lot of lore out there. And for anything that you're just not feeling very creative on, you know that there's a DM out there or an author of a novel or, whatever, someone writing on the wiki who has the answers for you. But if you just don't feel like looking it up,
You don't have to.
yeah, you make it up, which is amazing. I love having that license for our own story. And I especially love having played with the same group for so long that we sort of have our own combined mythos of, okay, well, yes, this takes place in Forgotten Realms, and there are these characters from Forgotten Realms, but Morwen, Eknon, Beryl, Daleth, and the others, we're in a combined mythos now.
You're right. They all still exist there.
Yeah, we are the heroes that people talk about, which is just super cool to think, oh yeah, in this world 40 years ago or 30 years ago, the giants were sundering villages and towns, and that's been saved. And now, in another 10 years, people will say, do you remember when El Terrell fell?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The way that we're able to like build on a story that we not only like used inspiration from the books for, of course, but also just things that we wrote like on top of that, where for instance, Drew's character, the whole hailing from Nightstone, me taking out part of this town of Nightstone to put his family there and be like, okay, this is my version of it, and then having that take effect and keep going even 30 years in the game's future, 2 more years past when we started. It's really cool to be able to like build out a story in that way and have characters live and breathe and experience, and it feels like it's a real world that's there for us.
So talking about these characters that are born out of, a canon lore in D&D, right? From someone who's very homebrew oriented, who I've never run anything out of a module. I've told you guys this before, and you guys run a lot of modules. Do you find it more fulfilling to run your own story, or do you find it's just more useful to use a lot of the modules and flavor it to your own use?
Well, as someone who has run 2 modules now, and I guess like 2.5 since I've run Dragon Heist a couple of times on, like, I tried to at least. What I really like about the modules is that there's a guideline for me to go off of. So, one, they're already an experience that's set up. Like, I want to experience the D&D modules where it's one thing to write my own story and have it go that way, but when someone says, hey, Curse of Strahd is like the best written D&D material ever, you have to play it, well, I really want to play it. So that's the same here, where I want you guys to have the experiences of these modules that are like so highly regarded. So Storm King's Thunder is one of the highly regarded ones that isn't exactly set up the right way, but if, as long as someone who can write like me does some tweaking, it can work out well. Same for Avernus, where it's not perfect, but there are a lot of resources online to kind of make it your own and make it run a little bit smoother than it's written in the book, or make a little bit more sense, because what's written in the book doesn't make a whole lot of sense at first. But so what I really like about those is there's a good guideline there, a very enamoring story. Like, I especially Descent into Avernus, after going through it, I was like, man, this story is really good if I play my cards right. And I think what we ended up doing ended up working out really well, where you guys got attached to the characters, you got to know the characters, you got to know the villain super well, and then after all of that, had a satisfying conclusion to Avernus. And then what's nice is we can carry on our own game afterwards. So it's really nice for me to stretch my writing brain to actually get all of these things going afterwards, where I felt very satisfied, especially after the Python Ikili arc, I would say, where I was like, oh, that was a full satisfactory story that, kind of wrapped up, I would say, pretty well. And that was all written by me. Like, I didn't take anything for that. I just kind of sat down and prepared it. Mm-hmm. I really like writing my own stories. It's a lot of fun, but I don't have the mental bandwidth to do it all year round, where I'm like, okay, I can take my time and write this next arc and get it done. But it is nice to have a little bit of guidelines to go off of, so that I know I'm not just, flying by the seat of my pants all the time.
Yeah, and that's sort of my take as well. You covered most of my thoughts on modules. When I first decided to run a module versus, coming up with my own campaign from scratch, I did it because I was in college, I was in theater, and I had no free time. So if I was going to be doing this, I was going to be doing it with
Just
a
run us
guide.
through Into the Woods.
So you go into the woods.
And that was the whole play.
Well, roll initiative.
Oh.
No.
A giant attack. Anyway, so I think that modules are a very helpful tool for DMs, and again, I like the shared experience aspect where you could go to another D&D player, and surely they've played at least one module in common with you. Like everyone's played Lost Mines of Phandelver, so then you have that common ground of, oh, what did you do when blah 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 blah. Oh, that didn't happen in my campaign. What? And that's,
yeah, exactly.
That's a great conversation starter. So I like having it there, especially because eventually 5e is not going to be the current thing anymore. So it's nice to be able to play it now and play the material released for it now, so you have that to look back on, in the future.
That's true. Just have those staples, I suppose.
Right. Like you can have your own created D&D, but it's a lot less similar to like a TV show, which I think modules are very much like, where or maybe a series of books even, where you you get to know the characters in the world and everything, and then you can think back on it fondly. Oh well, I did this published thing, so that's fun.
I love hearing about the perks of all the modules, and I like hearing about the guidelines that you guys get to use, because it's just so enticing. Like, I want to do it so bad. I really would love to run a module, but the idea of running a module just sounds scary to me. Like, I'm worried that I won't have as much fun if I get to run it, because the storytelling aspect of DMing is the best. I love being able to tell my interpretation of a story.
What I would tell you in response to that is pick one up that none of us are interested in, whether it's a newer one or one of the ones I have up there that I haven't read yet, and just read through it. Like, read through it, whether it's for your own inspiration or you're like, oh, this is something I can play with. Because that's usually what I do. Is I bought Descent into Avernus because I thought it looked cool. Like, same for the fact that I have Rime of the Frost Maiden. I kind of know the general outline of Rime of the Frost Maiden, where I'm like, this looks really cool, and I'm going to read it because I want to use it as inspiration. Like, I own a lot of the modules, mostly just because I like reading through them and getting inspiration for the game that we're running. Whether I'm going to run something from Dungeon of the Mad Mage in Avernus, that's where we can play with that a little bit, where like I ran a lot of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage stuff, well, not a lot, but a couple of the floors of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage stuff in Storm King's Thunder, because I can make it fit there. So that's what I would say in response to that is, if it gets you excited just listening about like, oh, the inspiration and stuff, just pick one of the modules up and read through it. Like, there's no harm in doing that. Or hell, take Storm King's Thunder and read through it, because you already know the story, and be like, oh, this is what could have happened here. Okay, this is where he got this from. And
that's not a bad idea, because I'm still so scared to read through the modules, because then what if someone wants to run it for me and I can't play because I've already read through it, I know the villain, and the idea that I miss out on that is scary. So maybe
don't read Curse of Strahd. You'll play it eventually.
Oh,
I would say that is my greatest D&D regret. Not that that's the theme of this episode, but it is. I read Curse of Strahd. I watched a live play of Curse of Strahd. That was like my first experience with 5th edition D&D, and pretty much D&D in general was dice camera action with Chris Perkins running Curse of Strahd. So I ruined all that for myself, and I wish I hadn't, because Curse of Strahd is my favorite module that exists.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Zach, I'll make you a deal right now. In 30 to 40 years, when you totally forgot about Curse of Strahd, I'll run it for you.
Thank you.
I got you covered.
That'll man. If you did, that would honestly be so amazing. Like, just imagining. All right, so now I'm 60 something, and I vaguely remember all the things that happened.
Well, no, you have Alzheimer's.
Oh. No, it's really depressing.
That is very depressing. I'd be very sad.
Yeah, very funny joke for this uplifting show. And we won't cut that out.
No.
But anyway, that would be amazing, just to like remember the little bits and pieces of it as you're going through.
For sure.
Do you think it'd be more fun redoing an old campaign so many years later just for the nostalgia?
I could see myself running an old campaign later. I don't think I would want to play Storm King's Thunder, though, or Descent into Avernus.
But like 40 years from now, you don't remember it?
No, I wouldn't want to play them. There's just something about it where I just like, I don't know, I've already run it. I've made it my own. I'd feel weird. I think.
I mean, have you ever watched a movie twice?
Not typically. I mean,
no? Not Spider-Man, perhaps?
Oh, well, no. So that's not the same thing. I go see the Marvel movies multiple times because I have to get everything.
Of course. What if you missed something in the campaign?
No, this is not possible.
No, there's no way you missed anything.
I read
all
both.
the rooms.
I've read pretty much the whole book.
Nice.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, that could be fun too. Like, get the band back together. Let's play Curse of Strahd again.
Yeah, I mean, it could be fun.
But the issue is the time commitment, right? Like, who has the time to play another D&D campaign
Right,
that I've already played?
We already have to play all the others, and then all the new stuff that comes out, and the homebrew stuff we want to play.
Yeah. We'll ruminate on that idea. It'll come back at some point, I'm sure.
Or, I could reskin Curse of Strahd with different villain, different setting, different everything, and be like, yeah, we're playing this campaign, and then you halfway through realize, is this just Curse of Strahd?
And that's the end of the campaign. That was the whole game, was trying to pull the wool over Zach's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
right there, and it's like, oh, we're in the bad place.
Oh, this is the bad place. I make that joke all the time with Becca.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of my favorite moments in television.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're going to talk about some of our favorite things about D&D, as a DM, I'm sure both of you guys can relate, when you effectively bamboozle your players, absolutely surprising, throwing them off guard, that one guy they've known forever is actually a dragon, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, it's great.
Your heart gets all warm and fuzzy, kind of melts a little bit.
Yeah, come to think of it, there was a fantastic moment of that in Curse of Strahd that, of course, I can't talk about here.
Yeah.
But, there were a few of those where just, the reveal. The reveal
I'm just like,
is always
oh
amazing.
my gosh, no, type deals.
Now, Zach, you have revealed to me that there is an elevator somewhere in this campaign that's supposed
that's the main villain.
Is that the moment you're talking about? When
Yeah.
the elevator turns on you?
Yeah, the elevator is Strahd, first of all.
He's polymorphed into an elevator?
No, he's a mimic. An elevator mimic.
No, he's a vampire mimic.
I just created a new creature.
I love
The
it.
elevator mimic.
It just grabs you and drops. That's terrifying.
Or the bottom just opens.
Into a big mouth.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Now I'm picturing like a gargantuan creature, right? Where you think it's just this little, 10 by 10 elevator, but actually it goes down.
Nope. Mm-mm.
You know what? Speaking of that, one thing I really love about D&D, being able to do that. Just like pull out anything and be like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to make an elevator that opens up to a mouth, an eternal mouth. Mm-hmm. Or just crazy plans is probably one of my favorite things because you guys know that I am a very like rule of cool DM. I kind of, if you say something that sounds rad to me, I'm like, hell yeah, we're doing that. Or for instance, rolling the high Horn of Valhalla the other day, you were like, Seth, you can change that if you want. And I was like, no. I'll make this work.
Yeah. That
like, I want to give you power so that way I can also be super powerful.
I'm still reeling from that, just by the way. We rolled just randomly on one of the magic item tables. We got a Horn of Valhalla.
Well, no, I didn't have him roll for the horn. I had chosen the horn as one of the items I was going to give you.
Oh, but you had him roll the rarity.
For the rarity of it. All he had to do was roll below 90 and it was fine.
And you pulled that willingly as a DM?
The Horn of Valhalla? Yeah. So there's our lower rarities to it where it summons less. So I was like, oh, Horn of Valhalla, that sounds like an Oswin item to me. I was like, this sounds cool. And also, it's a once every 7 days thing. If you use it, the next encounter, you're fucked. So if I was planning for you guys to use it for the Ancient Dragon and you use it for the kids, for the adult dragons, well, now you're fucked because you're going to fight the Ancient Dragon without it. So
that's true.
It's one of those things where it's like, when am I going to use this? Because now if I use it, I have 7 days where I can't use it.
Yeah, and honestly, the horn is the campaign MacGuffin at this point.
No, I still don't think that's true, though. They're just berserkers, and I want to say just berserkers in a way that's like, they're just hit points.
Right, but they're just 40 attacks in a turn.
Oh, yeah. But
This is insane. No, you're tolerating this. This is insane.
What, me tolerating that?
There's so many of these things. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, but it's going to be useful whenever you guys actually have to fight an army. If you summon that thing in a dungeon, you're basically just screwing yourself because you can't move anywhere.
No, we say, charge, and then we wait at the opening of the dungeon as they clear out most of the monsters, and then we
Yeah,
go
they
in.
can clear out a lot of monsters.
Hey, Army, go check for
Yeah,
traps.
but then we put it in Seth's hands, and he says, okay, well, I'll just roll all these dice at once, and okay, 50% of the monsters are gone, which is a reasonable thing to do. I wouldn't want you to sit here while we wait as you roll out the combat by yourself.
Oh yeah. If I sit there and roll out the combat for each of these creatures, we're just gonna sit there for an hour and a half, and you guys are gonna talk.
Which, to be honest, I feel like we're far more likely to use it as a, oh wow, we're getting mollywopped right now. Let's throw these guys out and run.
That's a perfect idea.
Yeah,
It's a perfect escape plan.
yeah, it's definitely a perfect escape plan. And also, the kind of creatures you guys are going to be going up against here at the latter half of the campaign, where is what it feels like, are going to be creatures that don't have to fight those guys. They just yeet themselves away until they're gone. Like,
True.
oh no, I threw this at like the dragon, or you throw it at like the storm giant quintessent, and the quintessent goes, I'm a storm now, and flies away, and the dragon goes, I'm a dragon, and flies away, and now those guys leave in an hour, and they don't have to deal with it.
I'm a wizard. I cast prismatic spray. I cast, meteor swarm. There goes your entire army of berserkers.
Yeah, that you can't. I mean, that's true. Cast meteor swarm, it's over. Or just like time stop, I'm gone. Like, I'm just not dealing with this.
Yeah, I'm an aboleth. I'm underwater. The
So,
berserkers don't breathe underwater.
Yes, is a legendary item like that wasn't supposed to be legendary. I was assuming it was going to be like rare or uncommon. I don't know if you read the card, Drew.
I actually didn't.
The Horn of Valhalla has different rarities. So one where you summon way less, and then a little more, and then a little more, and then a little more. Legendary, you have to roll 90 or above. Patrick rolled a 94. And I had him roll for that, and I was like, I could change this, but like I've been honoring the rolls this whole time. I'm going to honor them now. You have an Iron Horn of Valhalla, and I'm okay with it.
I mean, honestly, that's one of the things that I love about D&D is let the dice decide.
Yeah.
Sometimes something that shouldn't have happened is going to happen.
And next time you guys fight a Sapphire Dragon and a Draconic Shard in the same fight, you'll have to kill it. And if you don't, you'll die.
Yeah. Seth says, what about that horn in your pocket, Oswin? Well, I was holding it off for the final fight.
This is the final fight.
Yeah, I mean, it will be if we don't use it.
When we finished the campaign, we beat the final boss, and we didn't use the horn because we thought there was one more. That'll be awful.
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't, video game or RPG it where I've got 27 elixirs in my pocket at the end of the game.
Well, and realistically, the final combat, whatever it is, you're going to be charging in against something, and none of those guys are going to be on screen. It's going to be like you guys fighting something else, and all your guys are fighting another army off screen.
Oh, yeah.
That works. That works for me.
I feel like it's the best option because it's still very useful. You feel like you got your resource use out of it, but also you don't have to wait 30 minutes for all of them to roll attacks.
Well, and I also know that Zach wouldn't do anything to ruin the fun of the game. And he knows that 20 characters on the field all fighting one creature is kind of boring to watch.
Yeah.
So he's like, if we can do this, we'll do it. But I trust Zach. He'll do it fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use it when it's appropriate.
Exactly.
I trust
So
Zach.
you hope. Well,
I mean, you can use it whenever you want. I'll be prepared.
honestly, Oswin might have to start sharing the wealth because I am just rocking 2 legendary magic items now at level 12.
That's true.
Because I've also got an iron flask with just a measly infernal flesh golem hanging out in it. Man, we could get Satan himself in there.
Oh, gosh. As an artificer, you might be able to disenchant it and use some of its enchanting power for something of your own. Maybe an infusion.
I mean, that is true. You could come up with something like that.
It becomes
Like, make it a component for something.
Well, now, can I talk about the thing we got at the end of the Avernus campaign, or is that a spoiler?
The feather?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about the feather a little bit. So if you're really stringent about spoilers for any of the campaigns, there's a minor one that's about to come up.
Yep. So at the end of Descent into Avernus, we got this feather from Zariel. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And so what if Oswin, takes the Horn of Valhalla, infuses it with the feather of Zariel, and then it becomes the feather of, of Celestia, or the feather of Zariel, and then you call, and then Zariel and her, her Archangel Army
It's like
show
Pit's
up.
final smash from Smash Brothers Brawl.
Yeah, but it'll be cooler than that because that one sucks.
I mean,
God.
I definitely like that as an idea of fusing two items together. Of like, okay, instead of getting these like 20 berserkers, you end up summoning like a group of solars or something like that, like to help you fight on your side. Where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we have these two legendary items that go together, and you can make it like a similar time thing, like it'll recharge after a certain amount of days or whatever. I don't know how it could really. Yeah, you can make it just so it summons a couple, like a D6 worth of like solars or something like that that come and fight on your side.
No, you know who it's got to summon? It's got to summon Nuth. And now I need to do this.
You have to do this.
I'm
That'll work so
excited.
well. Like Nuth leading the charge against a group. That'll be cool.
Sean, don't listen to this episode. I've got a great idea.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about this later because I think that's a great idea.
You know what I love about D&D? Talking about D&D. Coming up with good ideas for D&D with good friends for D&D.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the best part about D&D is the fact that it keeps all my college friends together, and we all get to talk and still continue playing this game together every single week. Because if not, we wouldn't get to like. I know we wouldn't have nearly as much time with everybody if we didn't play D&D every week.
It brings people together, man. It really does. And it's the only game I can think of where we could just sit around in a circle and talk about absolutely nothing for hours, and it still be meaningful.
Yeah.
And with that, I think this is a good stopping point for this week of Table Talk Friday. Thank you guys so much for listening to us talk. Check out our new sick logo. It'll also be on our Twitter profile later, so follow us there on Twitter at Table Talk Friday. You can send us an email at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com if you have an inquiry, a question, comment, a concern, something you'd like to say to the boys. Tell us about what you personally love about D&D. And with that, character, take us out.
It's me, Nuth. I'm here with my solar army, and I'm gonna take you out. Ga 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 ga.
Thank you for listening to Table Talk Friday. For more information, advice, questions, comments, and concerns, you can email the boys at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. And if you'd like to tell your own stories, why don't you hit them up there? Send an inquiry or something, a sending spell. Thank you very much for listening, and please follow and come back next week. Goodbye. Bye-bye.